Mm-hmm.
So, what are your earliest memories of Italy?
Oh, when I was 6 or 7, and tattling on my brothers. I remember that. My brother Paul was so mad at me, put me on his shoulder, threw me in a ditch. I'll never forget, because I told on him. Things like that. We had a ball. We had fun.
Yeah. And do you remember? You don't remember the war. You were born
No,
after.
I was born after.
But you remember hearing about it? Did it make sense to you?
Oh, yeah. My mom used to talk about it all the time, Mom and Dad. And Frank, perfect.
Yeah. And do you remember understanding? When did you understand what they went through? Really understand?
Not until later on, like when we studied it in grade 7 or 8, whatever. That's when I started, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then Gino, he went through that too. He says, I remember throwing bombs and they used to have to run and hide.
Mm-hmm.
Like he used to tell us stories. But that's when I really realized, when I was about grade 7 or 8.
Yeah. I was like, you guys actually went through World War II.
Yeah.
And the bombing was in your backyard.
Yeah.
And the Nazis took over your house.
And Dad, I don't know how Frank remembers it. He was so young, but he remembers everything.
Yeah.
It stays in your head, I guess.
Yeah. And then when did you start to understand that you weren't going to stay in Italy?
Not until we got here.
Really? They didn't talk about it before?
No. I mean, we knew we were going to America, but I thought we were just going, but I didn't think. And once I got here, I wish we were going back.
Yeah. How old were you when it was?
8.5.
8.5. And you had a lot of friends. Tell me about your life at 8.5.
Oh, we used to run around the fields and, like Mom used to have to go down the river and wash her clothes, and we used to go with her. Things like that. And playing with my brothers and sisters, babysitting.
Yeah. Describe the house that you remember.
The kitchen had a wooden stove. Mom had made it so it looked like a stove, but you had to put wood in it. One room was the kitchen, and then you have to go outside and go upstairs to the bedroom. We had like 2 bedrooms. Mom had curtains so we could separate. The boys all slept in one room. Mm-hmm. That I remember.
Yeah. And neighbors? Did you have neighbors?
Across the street and the side. And Joe Quadrini lived down the street from us. And Vic would go every day, he was about 1.5 years, would steal his wagons and bring him home. Or Vic would go down there, either he had his pants on or a shirt. Never both. Stuff. We didn't know we were poor. We really didn't.
And what do you mean when you say we were poor? Like, tell me about what you ate and what you had.
Spaghetti, polenta, pasta fagioli, but it's almost the same thing all the time. Yeah, because Mom used to make it all from homemade. Didn't buy anything.
And what was she like when you were young as a mom? What do you remember about her?
She worked a lot. Clara really raised us because Mom was always out in the fields with my dad.
Yeah. Where did they grow?
I don't remember. I never went out there. I don't remember what they grew. I know they grew corn because we had a corn fest every year.
In Castellari?
No, at our house.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like in Italy, when, let's say this farm needed the corn, all the neighbors came and helped. And then they'd do a bonfire, and they'd, clean the corn, and it was fun. And then the next day, everybody went to their house to do it. Everybody helped each other.
I never associate Italy with corn, but of course there was corn.
Yeah.
They had cornmeal.
Well, that's what they used to...
make polenta.
Yeah,
right.
Polenta and feed it to the pigs, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have animals?
We had a cow. I used to go in the morning and drink it right out of the... That's all we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were 8.5 when you came to Canada. Tell me about that trip.
Don't want to remember it. It was awful. Awful. Sick all the time. The whole 9 days.
So what it was, but you were 8.5 on that boat, 9 years old on that boat, and 9 days of seasickness.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember anyone trying to help you?
No, because we never left our cabin. Oh, yeah, there was a man that came and brought me mushroom soup, which was the worst thing. And nice man. I mean, he was trying to be nice, but we as Italians never had mushroom soup. We never had them like gravy and all that crap. That was really bothered me.
Yeah. And what was the first stop once you got off that boat?
Ellis Island.
Yeah. And what happened at Ellis Island?
We met my aunt and uncles, all my brother, my dad's brother and sisters in there. I remember the first time I saw the Statue of Liberty. I thought it was just a statue. I didn't think anything because nobody ever told us anything. And we thought we were going to live there. But then we had to get on a train and come here.
To Canada. And your dad was already in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Why did he decide to not stay in the United States? Was it because of the war?
I think it was because of my brothers being, there was a draft and, you know, and then besides that too, the United States was kind of closing the people coming in. So that's why they decided to come to Canada.
What did you know about Canada before you came?
Nothing. We thought it was America.
The whole thing.
The whole thing was America. That's it.
Yeah. So you were just in another part of America.
Yeah. That's all we knew.
Yeah. And then what was your first memory of landing in Canada?
And on the train, somebody gave me a banana. And I was trying to eat it with the skin on because I'd never had a banana. And the lady beside me said, no. So she peeled it for me.
Do you remember what it tasted like?
Banana.
Did you like it though?
It was like mush a little. But now I love them. But at that time, who ever saw one? Yeah. And when, you know, thinking you're sitting beside somebody and you're trying, this lady kind of looked at me like, but then she realized I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
That was weird.
So then you landed in Wheatley.
Mm-hmm.
No, Sarnia?
No, Wheatley.
Wheatley. What did you think?
We had a mansion. Even though the bathroom was still outside, but we had a mansion. We never, you know.
Do you remember your first night? Like, do you remember?
No, I don't.
No. But just you thought, oh, we made it.
We made it, yeah.
Yeah.
We
that must
made
have been
it.
a good feeling.
Oh, yeah, it was. And then to see my dad. I hadn't seen him in 2 years. And then my mom, my sister and brother, I hadn't seen them in a year.
Yeah.
That was and and I didn't realize the sacrifice my dad made for us until later on in life.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
He did a big sacrifice.
Yeah. As a child, you didn't see it that way. What did you think?
I thought, why would he be doing this? To leave us here. Yeah.
He should be here.
Yeah. You should be here. Why is he gone for so long?
Yeah. And what would your mom say when you asked her?
Nothing.
Just keep going.
But we
down.
never talked about stuff like that in those days.
No, everybody was head to the grindstone.
Yeah, it was
live a day at a time.
Yeah,
just get through today.
Yeah, exactly.
No long family meetings and discussions.
No, we did have to say the rosary at night as a family.
Yeah,
but but we didn't ask too many questions.
No.
Mm-mm.
When was my dad sent to the seminary?
See, Paul was in the seminary, so was Larry, and then John decided to go, but I don't remember the year. But he was about 14, maybe.
Yeah. So he was in Rome for a couple
of years. But he
years?
wanted to go.
He did.
It wasn't in Rome, it was in Padriga, where Gina was born. Mm. Yeah. And Mom would walk from Castellini to Padriga, which would take her a day and a half to go visit them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. She was hoping one of them would be a priest?
Well, she thought one of them would. I thought that John would be.
Yeah.
I really did.
I think he missed his calling.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think that's all he ever wanted to do, was to read about God.
Yeah.
And talk about it, I guess, when he was younger. But, so Wheatley was the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of work did you guys do?
Worked the fields. I mean, I was only 10, but I was still picking tomatoes. With, I think, Frank, John, and I, really, who were the older ones that we picked tomatoes every day.
How many
hours?
In
the summer. Well, it depended. After school, before school, we did our chores, whatever. And then we came back and after school picked tomatoes.
What else?
Peppers. They had peppers, tomatoes, but just for us. And they had just a vegetable garden for us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were picking, you know. But yeah.
And tell me about fitting in when you first got here.
It was hard because nobody understood you. And we were all put back in grade 1. And I think the boys really found it hard. Not Angela and Vic, but Vic wasn't old enough. But And I didn't find it too bad either, but Frank and John and them, well, they were like 13, 14 with little kids. But that was the best thing they could have done, because if you mix us up with all the other ones, we probably would have never learned.
Right. And you were the only Italians?
Huh?
Like in the school, you were the only immigrants?
We were the only immigrants, the only Italian in Wheatley. There was some in Leamington, but we went to school in Wheatley. And we were the only ones in there.
How'd that feel?
Very sad. I wanted to go back to Italy.
Yeah, I bet.
I did, till I learned the language. Then I was okay.
Yeah, that's really the big thing where you have to overcome.
Yeah.
And tell me about bullies. You guys seem to have been bullied. The boys anyway.
I wasn't bullied. I was like, they didn't, have anything to do with you. Like, it was just like, they ignored you. That's the word. I was just ignored.
How'd that feel?
Very lonely. That's why I wanted to go back to Italy.
Did you tell your parents you wanted to go back to Italy?
Yeah, I did. And they told me to shut up. That's it. No.
We're here.
We're here. That's it.
Yeah.
Then once I got friends, I was fine.
Yeah. And when did you start making friends?
About grade 5 and 6.
Who were the first friends you made?
Mary Lou and Brenda Hickson, they were last names. I still remember them. They lived right across the street from us.
Yeah, and they were good to you?
Very good, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then when did you meet Uncle Gino?
He was a friend of your dad's.
Oh, okay.
He was a friend of Paul's. So he used to come over with John. The boys always had everybody's friends anyway. They were always at our house. Mm-hmm. And that's how I met him.
What was it like? What do you remember?
I was 15, 16. I didn't know.
Oh.
He went and asked my mom if he'd take me out, but we couldn't go out. So...
He just came over?
Yeah.
And how did you feel about him?
I don't know.
He was pretty handsome.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what love was.
No, I know.
Not at that age.
Yeah.
Thank God I did after,
Yeah,
because at that time, I think the Italian girls just wanted to get out of the house so they could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, not whatever,
Yeah, but you had more freedom.
Yeah.
You could be an adult and call shots and have your own house and not have to be like somebody else's maid.
Yeah, exactly, because we weren't allowed to go. I mean, a week before I got married, they wouldn't let me go to the house him and I by ourselves. Grandma had to come with us.
Jeez.
Poor Grandma.
Yeah. You were also really beautiful when you were young.
Wow, I don't know about
Come
that.
on. Everybody talked about that.
I don't know about that, but...
And that other girls were called Rita because you were so pretty back in Italy.
Yeah, in Italy, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
No.
You were just told that later.
I don't know if that was the girl that cut her hair. I don't know. I don't know.
So then what do you remember about your wedding day? How old were you?
Oh my God, it was hectic. Because in those days, you got married at 11 o'clock. You had to go to the hall for dinner. And then you had to go back for supper. And there was 500 people. And I didn't know half of them. Because at that time, everybody was friends. So everybody came.
Right. It was just a free-for-all.
Free-for-all.
Oh, man. And how old were you?
16. I was 17 when I got married.
And how old was Gino?
24.
24. Okay.
I was 17 in September, and I got married in December. So.
Yeah. And then how old were you when you had Paul?
20.
Right. Wow. Or a baby.
Yeah. But I do it all over again.
Yep.
Because you grow up with your kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best time to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back now, my opinion is that.
Yeah.
You're not having them by the time you're 25.
Yeah.
Don't have
I had Tara at 28, and I thought I was too old.
Yeah.
I didn't have the patience.
Yeah. I remember when she was born. I remember how excited it was. Everybody
was excited. Well, everybody was excited.
Girl.
Yeah, girl, finally, yeah.
Yeah, because there was a whole passel of boys at that time. Dave and
Paul
and
Richard and Frankie.
Yeah.
It was a lot of them, yeah. Yeah, and then Julie was born and Tara was mad.
So then what was Mom like? What was your mom like when she got here?
She worked all the time. My
worked.
grandmother didn't. My grandmother raised
Mamon, the one with the mouth?
Mamon, yeah.
What was up with her face?
No, that was her sister.
Oh, that was her sister.
Yeah, she was born like that.
What was that?
I don't know. Some infection in her mouth. In those days, you didn't go to the dentist.
Right. But
So
your mom's mom was here? Did I know her?
No, it was my dad's mom.
Did I ever meet her?
Mamona.
Yeah. Was she alive when did she die?
In 1972. 2.
Then I would have been alive. I was about about 5 years old.
Yeah. Paul and Richard were about 5 and 6.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
remember her though.
Yeah.
I maybe seen a picture of her and I would.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were.
So she basically took care of you.
She basically cooked and cleaned, and actually she raised Della.
When did she come over from Canada, from Italy?
She lived in the United States with her daughters.
Oh, right. They left a long time ago, right?
Yeah, they left way before us. And then when Dad was her baby,
Yeah.
so when she heard Dad was coming to Canada, so she came over and stayed with us.
Right.
You know.
And then tell me about Grandpa when he got sick. I can't remember.
He got sick and he was 81. 1990 he died.
Yeah.
I think it was 1990, yeah. He was never sick except the one year he got colon cancer, and then he got lung cancer all in 1 year, and then doctor gave him a year, and that was it.
What do you remember about that time?
Oh, it was hard because we had a hospital bed at home, and I was living there, so I was taking care of him with Mom.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember when you lived upstairs. The kids were little.
Yeah.
That was hard.
It was very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard on Mom, too.
Yeah. And then he died, and you stayed how long there?
I had Mom with me for 22 years after that.
Oh, wow. I can't believe it was that long. It's a long time.
It was a long time, but at that time when she was alone and Dad was sick, it was hard for me. I was working full time. I had a house of my own. I had 3 kids, and I was going back and forth, and that's why I moved. I thought, you think I wanted to move up there? No, but
it was smart.
It was easier though for me.
Yeah.
And they never drove or anything, so I had to be the one to drive them everywhere.
Yeah.
So, 22 years, and then she was in the home for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then your kids. They're pretty great. They're all doing really well.
I'm very lucky. Very lucky. Actually, the Gabriel family, we're all lucky.
Yeah.
Everywhere. With so many kids, you don't hear, you hear little things, okay? I found out a lot of stuff at Paul 60, but I'm just saying, normally we are so thankful. All our nieces, our great nieces, our nephews, actually, none of them have been in trouble.
Nobody's in jail.
When you think about it, there's when Mom died, there was 34 great grandkids. 34.
Yeah.
19 grandchildren and 34. And now there's a lot more. But
there's 50 something.
Right? Because Caden was their first great. And then Bob's kids, like Michael's kids, like Celine, these are all great.
Yeah.
So, to think about
it,
so many people, and we have been so thankful.
And
really.
Lucky.
And lucky, very lucky.
This country's been really good to us.
Yes, it has been. Has been very, very good. I always say I was born in Italy, but my home is Canada.
Yeah.
I miss Italy to visit. I wouldn't want to live there anymore.
Why not?
They're the way they live. You don't eat till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
No, it's nice to visit. I love it. But, no, this is my home. My kids are here.
Yeah.
My family's here. So, yeah. That's it.
That's good. Nice.